I wanted to speak today on forgiveness. We're living in a world that is increasingly angry and where everybody is looking for instant gratification. It would seem that can be at times a rather volatile situation. And at the same time, apologies are becoming rare. It is difficult to admit when you are wrong. That is called pride. By true definition, an apology isn't saying sorry, as some might think. Coming from the word apologia, it is an explanation of a circumstance or a situation, much as the early fathers of the church wrote their apologetics, describing certain Christian practices. Anger is one of the passions that can arise when a person is provoked. It can lead to untold other things if not caught and vanquished quickly. It takes a good deal of self-restraint to not allow this to go unchecked. Some at times might even in their own anger inspire this and inflict the same on others, bringing actions and words that can escalate and more of the same. This is the beginnings of conflict. Conflicts often arise when two or more people are really not talking about the same things, or it can be the imposition of one's will on another unfairly and without respect. This is all troublesome to say the least, and generally it leaves one or more feeling somehow injured, be it mentally, emotionally, at times spiritually, and perhaps in more unfortunate situations, even physically. Ideally, none of this should happen. Disagreements can arise, and every effort should be made to have a calmer and respectful discussion with open minds and hearts. This is, of course, rational, and often requires a good deal of restraint. Often these situations are irrational, or perhaps a case of self-serving desires. But in any of these situations, be they small or great, we are told as Christians to forgive, even to 70 times 7. Now, please don't reach for your calculators. This is not a mathematical equation. You can disagree, but you must forgive. You don't have to accept what they give you, but you must forgive. Forgiveness can be at times a big word. Residual anger often will prevent a person's pride from doing so. For those who hold on to anger and resentment, it can be like a demon which holds them in captivity. This can bring on more anger, as well as long-lasting damages to yourself in every way imaginable, sometimes even to the physical health. But what if I told you that it was to your own benefit to forgive? It's actually easier than you think. We say in the Lord's Prayer, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done." It's never about my kingdom or my will. And we ask God to forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. These are important lessons. If you have truly been wronged, then that person now owes you a debt. You may or may not ever see payment, but you can ask the Lord to take that from you, and He will. You turn it over to Him. In this way, you forgive the debtor and leave that debt with God. They no longer owe you. They owe Him instead. He will decide how to handle all things, including you, if you are still vengeful. Let go. It doesn't make you a doormat, but it does free you from those shackles. He will take care of it. Often people will confuse forgiveness with reconciliation. Those are two different things. You're not obligated to take the other person out to dinner and a movie if you don't want to. Maybe trust has been broken between you. That is an entirely different situation. You might be very apprehensive to trust this person again. A decent person would see that they have lost your trust and hopefully look to regain it if possible. That can take time. Sometimes it is best to just stay away if that trust cannot be restored. And the final stage of forgiveness is restoration. Depending on the situation and the people involved, this may or may not be possible. This is an ideal thing, but not always necessary. Sometimes it is better for people to go separate ways, especially when they cannot agree, as long as it does not involve malice, hatred, or vengeance. Those are the things that you ultimately wind up inflicting only on yourself, not them. In His own way and time, God will handle your opponent. And don't look to see what things might befall them. At times, it is best that you don't see. That can cause gloating. If it is meant for you to see, you will. Otherwise, leave it alone, knowing that debts are truly handled in His time, in His ways, and in His infinite wisdom. Don't be a victim. Forgive. A righteous person always prevails.